dispossession, and settler colonialism, and the fact that government institutions, including the Metropolitan Council, benefited economically, politically, and institutionally after the forcible removal of the Dakota Oyate. The Metropolitan Council is dedicated to instilling land, water, and people commitments in regional policy. These commitments support the Dakota Oyate, the 7 federally recognized tribes in Minnesota, Ho-Chunk Nation, and the American Indian communities, representing over 150 diverse tribal nations that call the 7-county region home. Thank you. The agenda is before us, and unless there are any additions or corrections to the agenda, I'll consider the agenda approved by consent. I see nods, and so we'll move on to approval of the October 13th Transportation Committee minutes. The next item is that approval. May I have a motion if there are no changes or additions to approve?
So moved.
Thank you. And a second. Thank you. It's been moved and seconded, and is there any discussion? If not, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
And those opposed, no. Hearing none, the motion carries and the minutes are hereby approved. Next, we have a public hearing on the Transportation Policy Plan Amendment, Aviation System Update. I will open the public hearing and take comments on the draft amendment to the 2050 Transportation Policy Plan included in Imagine 2050. The Transportation Policy Plan is the region's guiding document that translates a shared vision for our region's transportation system into investment plans and decisions that help to build and maintain that system. And this amendment adds an update aviation plan and related technical documents to the plan. You can find the full amendment at metropolitancouncil.org/TPT or TPP. Anyone who wishes to can provide comments. To make sure that everyone can speak who wishes to speak, we may use time limits for comments. Individuals will have 3 minutes to comment. Representatives of organizations will have 5 minutes to comment. The session is being recorded and live streamed. When you speak, please state your name, your place of residence, and the organization that you represent, if any. Written statements are also accepted, and you may leave a copy with us and/or email any comments to public.info@met.state.mn.us. I'll now call up each person that is registered to speak and look forward to any others who may be here to step forward afterward. Those registered to speak include first, Danae Curtis, and afterward I'll be calling Catherine Fleming. Is Danae Curtis here? I'm looking for Danae Curtis. I think not. So then I'll look for Catherine Fleming. Is Catherine Fleming here, please? Thank you.
Good afternoon, Chair Carter and the rest of the council. I'll start out by saying that I think I'm entered into the wrong meeting, but I have some comments that I'd like to leave with the council members, if that's going to be okay.
All right.
All right, so I'll just leave those here and you guys can distribute. Thank you.
Okay, all right. So you are not here to speak on the TPP amendment?
I was told this was going to be the general transportation policy meeting, and my comments were related to the transportation policies overall, and then a lens toward some of the work that's being done on the Blue Line as well.
All right. And so you are welcome to speak unless you prefer simply to leave your comments. We're here
We'll
to
be a little
listen.
bit off topic, but let's go for it.
All right. Go ahead, Catherine. Thank you.
All right, so what I wanted to talk about was an approach for transit policy when it comes to businesses along any transit corridor. I'm specifically calling out the Blue Line because that's something I've been working on and because we have an immediacy that we can work on and do a pilot project. One of the things that we talked about before in a number of organizations was branding and making sure that there is recognition for all of the areas along the Blue Line. So what's been done previously in other states, in Massachusetts specifically, we're talking about Berkshires. And that would be a currency that would be utilized across the businesses along the corridor. Those currencies will provide discounts to people who utilize the included businesses. We would also have the opportunity for the Met Council to be involved, possibly offer a discount for riders, and also to promote the businesses along the corridor. So one of the things you're asking, say, well, why now? Well, our businesses need you. I know you have an anti-displacement organization that's working on anti-displacement when we're talking about not only businesses, but homeowners as well. And this would be a golden opportunity to provide more support for the businesses, more sensitivity, more opportunities for the businesses. This would be a cohesive directive across the entire corridor. So those businesses that start from downtown Minneapolis and go to Target Center, Target headquarters, would all be included, all share the resources, all get the recognition, all get the branding. All of those elements would be included in this particular pilot. So, documented here, at least 21 of the primary businesses that are along the corridor. There's a primary focus here for North Minneapolis, but that's not to exclude Crystal, which is included, Robbinsdale, and Brooklyn Park as well. So having that lens to those particular businesses as an initial group with coordination across the Met Council with your resources, technical support, identification of businesses that might be impacted, then we think we have a good way of moving forward. So there's some historical documents here, information that you guys can read. Hopefully you'll give this some consideration. This is not only for the Blue Line, but I would hope that across any transit project that you would have the wherewithal, the sensitivity, the funding, and the recognition of all of those businesses that are either there already or that they will be coming because of the transit project. So the businesses need you. It's not a one-off scenario, and we hope that the efforts that you've shown in some of the other areas, that you will continue to do that for the businesses along the corridor. That's it. Thank you.
And thank you very much. I apologize for the misinformation about what
Yeah,
meeting
yeah.
it is, but we appreciate your comments, and we have your written comments
All
as
right,
well
thank
then.
you. Somebody's getting fired, but that's okay.
Thank you again for the comments. Is there anyone else here who wishes to be heard tonight? Again, we are speaking to the Transportation Policy Plan and the updated Aviation Plan. Is there anyone else here who wishes to be heard tonight? All right. Well, if not, then we will thank you for being here and for those who, for Ms. Fleming's comments. Public comments on the Transportation Policy Plan, updated Aviation Plan will be accepted through 5 p.m. November 10th. To comment on the proposed 2050 Transportation Policy Plan Amendment, write the Met Council at 390 Robert Street North, St. Paul, Minnesota 55101, or email the Met Council at public.info@metc.state.mn.us. Or you can also record a comment on the public comment line, which is 651-602-1500 and TTY 651-291-0904. And at the close of the public comment process, staff will prepare a summary of all comments along with a revised amendment. And the hearing is now adjourned. Thank you very much. We will get back then to our main meeting. Let's see. We now have reports. Oh, no, I'm sorry. We are going to move on to employee recognition. And so I will turn it over to the Chief Operating Officer, Brian Funk. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, Chair Carter, council members. Today we're bringing forward, we have 6 people being recognized, I think 5 of whom are present with us this afternoon, including officers from Metro Transit Police, as well as technicians who are in our light rail vehicle maintenance area. Though they have very distinct roles and are being recognized for different reasons, there's a through line to be found that all of these individuals stepped up to support their coworkers, not because they were compelled to do so, but because they could see how important it was to be there for people working alongside them. As part of our culture work, we've really emphasized the importance of fostering stronger connections between departments, creating a stronger sense of belonging, and fostering the development of staff as we look towards future growth. You'll hear more from our presenters in a moment, but before I hand it over, I want to be sure they know how much I appreciate them for walking the talk. Leaders like this help set the tone to strengthen and grow our workforce, which is fundamental to achieving our vision and mission. So with that, I'm first going to hand it over to Chief Dotseth.
Welcome, Chief.
Chair, council members, good afternoon. Come on up, stand next to me.
Hey.
I'm Joe Dotseth, I'm the interim chief of police, and I'm happy to be here this evening to present 3 of our officers, some of our most dedicated police officers, for this awarding accomplishment award and certificate. Sergeant Maurer, Officer Cryer, and Officer Vang. They are part of our newly created facility liaison team. We talk a lot about policing as a service, and these 3 exemplify that concept of policing that we embody here at the Metro Transit Police Department. When an announcement came out to be part of this newly created team, these 3 jumped at that opportunity to serve our Metro Transit and council employees. As part of this facility liaison team, these 3 act as facilitators of discussions and work to solve and come up with solutions to problems. Most recently, this team started tabling at facilities to reopen dialogue between your police department and our employees. I'm proud of their dedication to the mission of our organization, and they are truly policing as a service. And I looked before the meeting at their calendars, this is how busy they are, because they added me to their calendar, and they have a lot of events going on, which is fantastic.
Thank you.
But really, to all of our meetings, and we're out at town halls, we really reach out to, obviously you can reach out to me anytime, but this team truly is going out, connecting and building that relationship back with the police department to all of our employees. So I really am proud of them, and congratulations to 3 of them for this award.
Thank you.
All right, Chair, up next we have Ben Engen, a supervisor in our rail maintenance training area, with a couple of technicians who are being recognized this afternoon.
Thank you, Chief Operating Officer Funk. I have Tim Malmstead here and Calvin Hill, and we have one other that deserves recognition, couldn't make it today, Jim Wallish. So all 3 of them have been very helpful. We've had an unprecedented number of new hires. All 3 of them have been instrumental in helping mentor all of these new hires through job shadowing and on-the-job training. They will many times mentor up to 6 mechanics at a time while juggling their own work. They are detailed, accurate with the information they pass along, with a strong emphasis on safety and helping these new employees fit in with the shop culture. Mentorship is not a requirement of their positions. They help because they care about those that we are hiring, our new mechanics, and the quality of work that we perform in the shop. Their work contributes directly to our employee retention, service reliability, and passenger safety. So with that, I kind of put a few numbers together. For some perspective, since this time last year, we've had 35 new hire mechanics come in, accounting for nearly half of our overall staff. Some retention, safety, and vehicle reliability issues could be expected. Only 1 of our 35 decided to pursue different employment. There were also no lost time safety incidents amongst these new hires. We continue to exceed the mileage allowance on the mean distance between failures metric, even with all these new hires we have. Without their tireless effort, it would not be possible. So, yeah, thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you very, very much. Thank you, Brian, and I'd like to thank Chief Dotsett and also Ben for your presentations of these awards. And to our officers, thank you so very, very much for the work that you all have done, our relationship with our community, and all of the various events and other activities that you are staffing are very important to us. I would also want to say that bringing new employees in and helping to prepare them, getting them engaged and giving them accurate information, and specifically the focus on safety, is so important to us all. And so thank you very much. I'm not sure if any of the council members wanted to say anything. I want to be sure to walk over and hand you your award. So we'll do that, meet you at the front. Did any council member want to speak? Thank you very much. I have Officer Angela Kreiner. Sergeant Mauer. Thank you very much. Sergeant Mauer? Yes. And Officer Dunn. Thank you so very much, all of you. And then I have Calvin Hill. Calvin was very, very, very. And Tim Malmstead. Is it Malmstead?
Malmstead, yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so very much to all of you. That's always the fun part, right? Okay. And so we'll move on to some more fun. Next, we have our reports. First, I'll turn to MTS Executive Director Charles Carlson. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good afternoon, and good afternoon, council members. Three quick items. Believe it or not, after this meeting, there's probably only 3 meetings of this group left this year. So 2 meetings in November, and perhaps the last meeting in December will be canceled, but a short time frame left. We plan to bring a month from now, at the late November meeting, a contracted transit services overview that'll provide a little bit deeper dive into how we do contracted service, where we do contracted service, the firms we work with, the type of things that of why we do contracted services that we just haven't had time to really dive into, but may be appropriate as we're starting to look ahead to some procurements coming up in the next year. So some orientation before we dig into some additional contract items. On the regional solicitation front, we're actually expecting to bring 2 info items with many thanks to the council members that participate in TAB's working group. We are beginning to see the light at the end of the tunnel of designing the next regional solicitation. Continuing work, of course, but expecting to bring an overview of the recommendations and seeking feedback from the committee as we're rounding the solicitation out and then releasing it early next year for public comment. And this is both for active transportation sales tax funds and for the federal funds that have traditionally come through the process. And then finally, I'll mention briefly, and the Deputy GM will share more, but last night we were involved in supporting, through mutual aid, a incident in St. Paul. A small fire and electrical panel created some cascading building systems failures that ended up in the need to relocate about 1,500 people. And we offered mutual aid from the Council for Transportation, and under direction of St. Paul Fire as the incident command, both MTS and Metro Transit supported that response. So just wanted to share that for the group.
Just a small activity, for sure.
Right.
Relocating 1,500 people. Thank you so very much. Of course, that's in my district. All of us appreciate, but it was particularly alarming to see that great need. Thanks. Are there any questions for Mr. Carlson? Again, we really appreciate all of the work that you've done, are presenting and teeing up for us in the future.
Thank you.
In our next couple of meetings, I
Yeah.
guess, before the end of the year. Thank you. And next, I'll call on our Chief Operating Officer for Metro Transit, Brian.
Thank you, Chair Carter. As Charles mentioned, last weekend or, the last couple days, were not expected to be sort of nearly as eventful, but they were. They impacted some residents in St. Paul, as was mentioned, very heavily. And so when the general manager first and then I received the call about how we could help, coordination efforts started immediately. Really proud of the work that the teams did across the council. From Metro Transit bus, 11 buses were able to be mustered and arrived on site within about an hour of getting the official word on that. And as Charles mentioned, Metro Mobility also played a role just to make sure that these residents who are being displaced had everything they needed to sort of be relocated. So it's one of those services we provide to demonstrate kind of our value to the communities we're serving, and I'm really proud of everything that went into it from our bus operators, supervisors, dispatch center, and partnership with transit police to make sure that it was done effectively. The weekend before last, I think we previewed that through a letter from the general manager about a big weekend involving a Gopher football game, Paul McCartney concert, downtown Minneapolis demonstration, and then a Vikings game on Sunday. So that was a busy weekend for everybody across Metro Transit. And the good news is that we saw about a 30% bump in rides from the week before for that Friday, Saturday, Sunday period, with more than 400,000 rides on those 3 days. So really nice increase, demonstrates that many of our customers are looking for that service that takes them to and from these large events, and the teams knocked it out of the park like they always do, but they plan accordingly and did a really nice job. And then the final thing I'll mention is that under the general manager's leadership, we continue our quarterly town halls at all of our work locations. And so that effort began in earnest within the last couple weeks, and we're making our way through a variety of shifts and locations to visit with staff, share some information that we think is important for everybody to hear, and then leave ample time for Q&A sessions. So that work will continue into November. So with that, I'll stand for any questions.
Thank you. Are there any questions? We really appreciate the report, Brian. And again, thank you so much for all of the busy activities that you've noted that are so very, very important for our region. And thank you very much again for the participation also in helping to relocate 1,500 people this weekend. Thank you very, very much. Then if there are no questions, we will move on to our consent business.
Madam Chair.
Yes.
Real briefly, so if I could just mention the TAB
I'm
report. So
sorry.
member Dugan
Yeah.
is not here. He
Yeah.
passes along his regards. We were in touch with him today. Because we only had one action item at TAB that's on tonight's agenda, and information items at TAB are actually coming to you or to the full council in the next few weeks. Decided that he would sit this one out, but he did want to say hello to everybody. So I'm passing that along on his behalf. He does value providing these reports as we value receiving them, but given the overlap with your tonight's agenda and future agenda, we decided that he wouldn't attend tonight, but he does say hello.
Thank you, and thank you for mentioning it. I skipped over it knowing
No
that he
problem.
wasn't going to be here, and I'm so glad that you mentioned it. It is an agenda item, appreciation. So moving on then to our consent business, and on the consent agenda, we have one item. May I get a motion, please, to approve the item on the consent agenda?
I make a motion.
Thank you. I'm sorry, I think that was Councilman Carter. Okay. Thank you very much for your motion. Is there also a second?
Second.
All right, and thank you very, very much for your second as well. So it's been moved and seconded that we approve the item. I was going to look for the item just to say what it is. Thank you. It is procurement of 4 small buses for transit link in Scott County. Thank you very much, Council Members Carter and Pacheco, for the motion and second. Are there any comments or discussion on this item? No further discussion. Then hearing none, all those please say aye if you're in favor.
Aye.
Aye.
And those opposed, please say nay. Hearing no nays, then the item is approved, our consent agenda. And we'll now move to our non-consent agenda. The first non-consent item is business item number 2025187. And here to present is Alicia Vapp. Thank you, Alicia.
Thank you, Chair. Council members. So I have a short presentation I'll go through. I'm here to talk about business item 2025-187 for the Blue Line Extension. So the Blue Line Extension is an extension of the existing Blue Line light rail service. So it will add, as you can see on the map, 13.4 miles and 13 new stations. It will serve the communities of Minneapolis, Robbinsdale, Crystal, and Brooklyn Park. An important focus for the Blue Line Extension project, and as we had heard earlier through Ms. Fleming, is the focus on building community prosperity through anti-displacement. So there's been a lot of work that's been happening before construction. It's been a focus. It'll continue to be a focus during construction and then after construction. So quick project update. In August of this year, the Federal Transit Administration approved an amended record of decision, and that finalized the federal environmental process. Also that same month, the project team provided information to FTA that will allow FTA to finalize the budget and the schedule. And so the next steps that you all will see and others will see is kind of rolling January through March, a little bit uncertain depending on the time frame for some of the actions that we'll be waiting from FTA. We'll get final recommendations from FTA on our project budget and schedule. And both the Project Decision Board, Hennepin County, and the Met Council will review and approve the final scope, schedule, and budget. And then the project team will provide updates to the Corridor Management Committee. And what we're here today to talk about is the design contract. So this is contract 22P103A that was awarded to Kimley Horn and Associates in 2023 for over $96 million for design and engineering services for the project. So several changes from that original scope, which was written in 2022, have occurred, and a lot of that was based on a really robust community outreach process that the team did, as well as the municipal consent process. And so some of the changes that I'll highlight today include changing the alignment. So originally the alignment was on Lyndale Avenue in the original scope, and it's now on Washington Avenue. Another change is the project LRT was on West Broadway. It's now on 21st Avenue North in that stretch of North Minneapolis. Another change is the LRT alignment on the 10th Avenue North. And then the next two items I'll actually focus on in the next few slides, but they are adding a new station in North Minneapolis, and then some pretty significant changes to the Lowry Avenue station. So the West Broadway station, was a station that was added just south of Washington Avenue on West Broadway, and it really provides more service to that developing area of North Minneapolis. So this is a station that was added. And then significant changes were made to the Lowry Avenue station. So the final rendition, before that was finalized, there were several different iterations that the project team researched with support and requests from the community, the park board, and North Memorial Hospital. So the final approved station was in our municipal consent plans is an at-grade station, and then grade separated Theodore Wirth Parkway and Lowry. And so this was supported by the community, supported by the park board, and by the hospital, and then was approved by the Project Decision Board earlier this year. So the proposed action before you today is that the Met Council authorize the regional administrator to execute an amendment for contract 22P103A with Kimley Horn and Associates to increase the contract value by $42.9 million for a total contract not to exceed amount of $139,275,448. And I'm happy to take questions.
Thank you very much. We'll open questions.
Oops, sorry about
Go ahead. Councilman Johnson?
Did you have more?
that. No, sorry.
Councilmember.
Thank
Oh,
you.
okay.
Did you want to touch on this?
No, I'm good. Thank you. Sorry about
Okay.
that.
It's up for us. Thank you very much for the Stay Connected slide. Go ahead,
Thank you,
Councilman
Madam Chair.
Johnson.
Thank you for bringing this forward. And just for the public and people who are interested in this project, these are funds that are flowing from Hennepin County through the council to the project office to continue the work on this project. Is that correct?
So, Madam Chair, Councilmember, yes, that's correct.
So that it is not Met Council money at this point going in? Okay. And then I would just say too, I really appreciate we've got the new alignment brought into our policy plan. And I would say there is community support, as you acknowledged, but there are also some people that are still concerned about some of these alignments. So I just wanted to put that in the record too. But thank you. I think this is a good move going forward based on the process that we're in right now.
Thank you very much for your question or comment. Are there other questions or comments in discussion? Thank you. Thank you very, very much, Alicia, for this information.
Thank you.
And so we have before us the proposed action to authorize the regional administrator to execute an amendment for contract 22P 103A with Kimley Horn and Associates, and to increase the contract value by $42,900,000 for a total contract not to exceed amount of $139,275,448. May I get a motion, please?
I make a motion.
There is a motion. Thank you. That was Councilmember Carter. Is there a second? Okay, thank you, Councilmember Cameron. Moved and seconded. Is there further discussion on the motion? And if not, then all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
And opposed, nay. Lacking any opposition, then the motion passes and the item is approved. Thank you very much. The next item is business item number 2025-240, and here to present for us is Rachel Dunca. Rachel, thank you. Did I pronounce your name properly? I hope so.
Really close. It was Dunca.
Dunca,
Chairman.
thank you.
Chair Carter, thank you. I have a presentation. Yeah, thanks. Okay.
Okay.
Madam Chair Carter, council members, I'm Rachel Dunca. I'm the Senior Manager of the Office of Performance, and I'm here today to present a business item about a master contract for research services. Research services and a master contract for such has been a common practice for Metro Transit and the council. It supports many kinds of research activities that helps us better understand our employees, our customers, and our service. In particular, there's been a lot of focus over the last 10 years of annual customer surveys, potential customer surveys, also called lapsed riders, for example. And this master contract really helps us link with professional services that can help us find design surveys, can find participants, research participants. That becomes really important, particularly as we try to get stakeholder feedback from not just our customers, but beyond our customers, those influenced or impacted by Metro Transit. And it also helps us really provide more data and a full picture of the investments and the activities that we're doing. So this master contract would allow a staff across many different departments like marketing, customer information or customer experience, and bus transportation to conduct rigorous research with the support of this contract. So some really specific examples. In 2020, for example, we were really worried about what was happening, obviously, with COVID and how our brand and our image was changing. And, it helped us, that research in particular helped us understand the evolving customer behaviors, like the types of trips that people were making on transit. In 2023, we did a focus on with the master research contract that was in the previous one, we focused on understanding customers' perceptions of safety. That directly informed some approaches we took with the trip program design. In 2024, we conducted focus groups to help inform some brand messaging that we were thinking about what is resonating with our region on what Metro Transit can deliver. And most recently, for example, we are going through a redesign of our bus stop signage, and we knew that there were particular groups of people that were difficult to reach, those with disabilities, those not speaking English, or those just more likely not to take a survey. And we used this master research contract to support outreach in those groups to get feedback that could be integrated into a new bus stop design. So those are just some examples. So specifically today, I'm asking we're proposing a contract with professional data analysts. They're a firm that has had extensive experience supporting research activities for large government entities, and they really understand this field of behavior change and how that can drive better understanding in business insights. This is a master research contract is for 3 years, up to $1.5 million. I'll just be very clear, this is a master contract, so the total spend is dependent on the work orders issued. And so those are controlled at every single project. So the proposed action is that the council authorize its regional administrator to negotiate and execute contract 24P240 with professional data analysts to support research services like large public and employee sentiment surveys and focus to inform outreach, marketing, and program evaluation activities in an amount not to exceed $1.5 million.
Thank you very much for the presentation on this important topic. Ms. Dunka.
Yeah, thank you.
And are there any questions or comments from council members?
Madam Chair.
Go ahead.
First of all, I really appreciate the great research that we do here at the council, and then bringing in contracted partners to do that work because it's extensive. Have we used this firm before?
Madam Chair, Councilmember Johnson, we have not used this firm before. They were the selected after a competitive RFP.
Okay, and I see
this is a new firm to us for this particular.
Okay, thank you. And I do see that they've reached the MCUB goal of 15%, which is great as well. So, yeah, I fully support doing this kind of work with the great, reach that we have across the region, and with things changing really so quickly in real time, and then trying to get the long plans laid. Having all of that data and research underpinning everything we do is great. So I'll fully support this. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much for your comment. Thank you, Councilmember Pacheco.
Madam Chair, just a quick question. If you don't expend all of the money, does it roll over the next year, or is it you go through $1.5 million?
Councilmember, or Madam Chair, Councilmember, it is not to exceed 1.5 million over 3 years, so it could mean 1.5, as I understand it technically. In practice, that doesn't occur. It's the total budgeted amount is over those 3 years. So if we spend 500, the kind of goal is, approximate estimation is about 500,000 a year.
That's right, yeah.
Would you have the question, if it's not spent after the third year, what happens, or does that
Not
roll
spent. There's some sort of, definitely not in the red then. So, yeah. It doesn't force us to spend that money.
Right,
Yeah.
and we have help.
Madam Chair, council members, so a not to exceed this is based on work orders to support the project. And if the work doesn't hit the not to exceed amount, then it just goes back to the project accounts. There's no guarantee that this consulting firm is going to get the full dollar value of 1.5. It really just depends on the breadth and the depth of the work.
For the record, would you please state your name and position?
Madam Chair, Jody Jacoby, Chief Procurement Officer.
Great.
Yeah,
Thank you. Are there other questions?
yeah.
You go ahead, Councilmember Carter.
I was just wondering, typically under a contract this size in the past, how many surveys and focus groups would that entail typically?
Yeah, great question, Councilmember. We've seen a range of between 30,000 and 100,000 approximately for each effort. So we're kind of suggesting, trying to be between 4 and 6 a year. So, and that's done by like I said, the sponsors of this kind of work can really vary by department. It's not tied to the Office of Performance. We help make sure that we apply our best standards and practices on how we have those deliverables and be a main contact with the consultant, but it is available to use for a variety of purposes as long as it's to support the research services and their specific services that they provide.
And again, not to exceed and not to be used if not needed, right? Thank you. Thank you very much for this presentation and for the proposed action. Are there other questions? If not, then I'll ask for a motion on the action.
So moved.
Thank you, Councilmember Johnson, second.
Second.
Thank you, Councilmember Pacheco. So we have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion on the question? And if not, then all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
And opposed, no. Thank you. The motion has been approved, and we appreciate it. Going next to the business item number 2025257, and here to present is Robert Remstad. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Chair, Council members. Again, I'm Robert Rimstead. I'm a manager in the engineering and construction as part of the capital programs department at Metro Transit. And so I'm here to present a business item for the regional administrator to negotiate and execute a design contract. I'm going to give a quick background of the project and kind of where we are to date. As a reminder, about a year ago, a purchase of this building was presented to the Transportation Committee of the Council and passed to purchase this 180,000 square foot warehouse building for the purpose to consolidate our material management functions from its primary location at Overhaul Base and a secondary lease location in Roseville to consolidate and work on those, improve those efficiencies of getting all the parts out to where they need to be to repair our vehicles and support our staff. And so the scope of this design contract will be to set up and use the latest technology to get that warehouse area set up, which will be a primary function of the building. And then a lot of the support areas for staff to have their workstations, the break room, place to eat their lunch, conference rooms, and other miscellaneous support equipment. The exterior improvements, again, here listed down here, will be some covered areas for loading vehicles, as well as reviewing the feasibility of installing some solar and some geothermal systems in the design of the project. So their overall need, I touched on that a little bit, is just consolidating those operations to a single facility, improving the safety, lighting, amenities, and the process of getting those parts taken in and out to where they need to go. And this is part of the accommodating the current and future needs of the material management department. So the proposed action is for the Metropolitan Council to authorize the original administrator to negotiate and execute the contract with Mohegan Hansen Architecture for the material management or warehouse facility design and construction support services in the amount not to exceed $892,665.
Thank you very much.
Quick timeline here at the end. So I think the timeline that we project going forward would be to get some concept designs early next year, hopefully get that full design wrapped up towards the summer, fall, and hopefully be bidding about this time next year. So that in about a year or so, we'd be able to bring a construction contract forward for approval. So with that, I'll take any questions.
Thank you very much. Go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair. Was this a spec building that we purchased? We didn't, did we build it ourselves? It said purchase, so I was curious. We're coming in to retrofit it now for our needs, but was it a spec building on the market?
Madam Chair, Councilmember Johnson, this was a built-to-spec building that, as I think staff were out looking at the opportunities available to them, this came across in the real estate services area and said, hey, wait a minute, this is about the right size in the right location. So I think that's where those next steps of action took place last year.
Thank you. I think that's great. You know, when you don't have to build it yourself, you maybe save some time. I don't know, how long this has been on the market, but it sounds very intriguing. And the fact that you're consolidating services is great. So thank you for that.
Thank you. And again, the building was already purchased. This is moving to the next step, to design and then finally to construct. Thank you. Any additional questions or comments from council members? Thank you. Well, thank you very, very much for the presentation on the item and for the proposed action. I'll ask for a motion on the action for the Met Council to authorize the regional administrators to negotiate and execute the contract 25P078 with Mahagan Hansen Architecture, was that right? Okay. And for the material management warehouse facility design and construction support services in amount not to exceed $892,665. Is there a motion? Is there a motion?
Make a motion.
Thank you.
Second.
All right, moved and seconded by Johnson and Carter. Is there any further discussion or question? If not, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Thank you. That motion has passed, and the item is now approved. Thank you very, very much. And our next business item is item number 2025-260, and here to present is Chief Dotson and Acting Lieutenant Kadra Muhammad. Thank you. Chief Dotson, you're alone.
Chair, council members, good afternoon. My name is Joe Dotseth. I'm the interim chief of police at Metro Transit, and I'm here this afternoon to present business item 2025-260, which is a joint powers agreement with the city of Brooklyn Center and the Metro Transit Police Department. The proposed action that we're seeking tonight is that the council authorizes the regional administrator to execute a joint powers agreement 25I-102 with the city of Brooklyn Center. Some of the information that's in the business item, we remind everybody as we present these business item documents, and especially for JPAs, is that the Metro Transit Police Department has entered into past mutual aid agreements with the city of Brooklyn Center, essentially under Hennepin County Chiefs of Police Association Mutual Aid Agreement, Council Contract 15M004. And that was authorized under business item 2015-161. That 2015 contract is a general purpose contract that's really designed for emergency response if something major happens, you know, in the metro or in the region, right? A tornado, a bridge collapse, something like that. As we work to refresh all of our joint powers agreements with our partners, we partnered with the Office of General Counsel and our friends at Procurement to really come up with a template. So that template is in the additional items there. And then that really defines our responsibility in each one of these jurisdictions. So again, that's kind of the difference of the 2015 agreement to the agreement that we're seeking now. Some of the rationale behind this is that obviously by state statute that this requires council action, and then along with council procurement policy 1401. And again, inside of the template there, you'll really see the rules of engagement that were inside of the city of Brooklyn Center, all of the cities that we operate. While it's a fair amount of work coming to the council every time presenting the JPAs, we're happy to do that, but it's really important work for us to formalize these partnerships. Specifically, I've been up with Chief Fleslin from the Brooklyn Center Police Department recently. They're also working on this too. It just really formalizes our relationships with our partners there. So with that, happy to take any questions.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Are there questions? Go ahead, Councilmember Pacheco.
Chair, Chief, give me an example of how you arrive at an incident and you decide who takes the first step or who's in charge.
Chair, council member, you know, I think our general practice is that, you know, we would like to take, you know, whatever the incident is, that's kind of our response and kind of our frame of mind on every incident. There will be times, and it's in the statute, that, you know, as a secondary agency where a crime occurs, that agency usually will happen in Minneapolis or St. Paul, maybe some of the suburbs. If it's a major incident, they may take that incident over us. So it kind of clearly defines that in the statute. Our police statute 473-407. So over the years, when I started here in 2004, we were probably transferring a lot of cases to these local agencies. But as this organization really becomes one of the premier law enforcements in the region, we take most of the cases. Really, you know, in the last year, I can see some of the cases that other agencies have taken. They've been maybe tied to something, or they were a major incident like a homicide or something to that effect. So.
Thank you.
But we try to take all the cases ourselves, obviously. But
Tough choices.
Yeah, but I think it's back to being a full-service police department, and that's also being a good partner to all of our partners in the region. Every police department in the region is very busy, and they have a lot of responsibilities as we go out there and form new partnerships with our partner agencies. Like, we have to be a full-service police department, and we have that staff. When we think about our investigations unit, our detectives, they are fully trained and they're capable of handling every major crime that occurs on the transit system. So, as we get more staff on board, we'll keep continuing that, we certainly would like to be primary on that. And again, really only the major cases, and it's in the statute, that, an agency may take a major incident, so.
Thank you very much. Councilmember Carter?
Yeah, and I was just wondering, first of all, I'm always glad to see these joint powers agreement because, it breathes life in the cooperation between the various police entities. And the other thing is, I just wonder, what are the takeaways in terms of the major enhancement or improvement that it's brought to the work in this area, having these joint powers agreements, as opposed to, say, like 5 years ago, when we would hear like other things in terms of cooperation?
Chair, Dr. Carter, I think, one of the biggest takeaways is it really just lets those other agencies know how serious we are to responding to our stuff, right? So again, back to the other agencies having their own responsibilities. And what I hear a lot when we're doing a lot of outreach is, whatever city, right, whatever jurisdiction, they have their own stuff going on. And they really want us to take our cases, and they want us to have a playbook of what this agreement is on if something does happen in their city, what can they do? So I think it's enhanced the relationships a lot. And when we go out to do outreach to get these JPAs done, they take some time, right? You got to go out and meet a couple of times, which we're happy to do that. So I think it's just an opportunity for us. Like when I met with Chief Fleslin about this agreement, it really gave us an opportunity just to talk about all kinds of stuff that was happening in his area. And then, we can certainly update on what we're doing at the police department here, what he's doing. So I think it's enhanced that relationship. And I think having a formal agreement, you can never go wrong with that. So I think for me personally, it's enhanced our relationship with our partners immensely.
Thank you. Go ahead, Councilmember Johnson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Chief. This is great. And thank you for obviously providing the JPA for us to read through. And I know some of our other JPAs with other cities have gone through council approval already. Are these generally from city to city or jurisdiction to jurisdiction pretty consistent between the JPAs? Or can they deviate, one to the next? And if that's the case, then just, the consistency of working with many other jurisdictions and maybe those differences as you're out in real time, or you're going between jurisdictions for some sort of incident that's out there. How do you manage that?
Chair, Councilmember Johnson, great question. We try to keep them as like-minded as we possibly can, but the purpose of the JPA is that the agents, they can do some red lines. So, like, for example, we came to the committee a couple weeks ago, it had the City of Edina's JPA going through. So as we work through that, like, the teams will go back, they'll do red lines. There's usually small edits to stuff, right? It might be who's dispatching where, or somebody might have an idea of who's, handling what case. There's small edits, generally speaking, and so I think that's helped quite a bit. And again, this template, trying to keep things as consistent as we possibly can. All red lines are done with the support of OGC, so it's not like we're doing that without that connection and collaboration. So, but yeah, we really try to keep them as together as we possibly can. And, as you mentioned, city to city, that's important. But, we do have a county template too, thanks to the leadership of Sheriff Starr in Washington County. He signed our first county JPA. So that's a big deal for us as we go back out and we start thinking about connecting with the other sheriffs in the region and start thinking about just having that template. It's a big deal, but we certainly can deviate from it a little bit. There's just, like all contracts, the red lines will go back and forth, and it might take some time to come to an agreement on the final end, but we usually do. So,
And Madam Chair, just one follow-up. Thank you, Chief, for that. And so is it the incident commander, or whoever the, person with responsibility on site, are they the one then that's got the intense knowledge of the JPA on it, when you're out in the field, and officers will rely on that? Because, it'd be just a lot if everyone had to get all of this down. I think it's great. I'm just curious in the execution of that.
yeah, Chair, council member, it's a good question as well. The actual incident commander, whether it be the sergeant or the lieutenant on the street, probably isn't as familiar with the JPA as some of the administration team is. but it really doesn't change what they're doing in the field. Our standard operating procedures and how we respond to incidents, like, that's pretty like standard. It has been for a long time. This really is just solidifying that and then having that formal agreement between the agencies. So if something does come into question, we can go back to that. But yeah, I mean, every day you think about the jurisdiction that we have, we're constantly interacting in all these different jurisdictions. And our staff, right, you know, Captain Ahmed, who's in charge of the patrol division, all the patrol lieutenants, like, they know what to do on scene. And so they have a pretty good just cadence of what that looks like when they show up. But you know, major incidents, that's when we're probably going to pull something out like this. But standard practice of who's going to take, you know, what incident, you know, you think about a train crash or something like that. I mean, again, our general response is, and I think back to the importance of these JPAs, when we go out to, it wasn't that long ago, we would go out to an area, especially like, you know, if it was outside of the core cities, and by the time we would get there, maybe that local agency would already have that done. Now they're holding the scenes for us, which is great. So let us come, we will handle that, whether it be like a crash, our crash recon team will go out and take care of that stuff. So, you know, while this is here, our day-to-day operations really is based upon like our SOPs and stuff like that.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Wonderful, thank you. Go ahead, Councilmember Cameron.
Yeah, and it's more of a comment. I just want to thank the chief for and the team at MTPD and Metro Transit for the engagement that they've done within the city of Brooklyn Center. We've had a lot of meetings. Of course, we have a heavy presence within Brooklyn Center with the BCTC station, and so appreciate all the effort that's put in and that and finally getting the two chiefs together. I know there's been some turnover at the Brooklyn Center Police Department, and so having the two of you meet and having it be a really positive experience is a great step in that direction. So thank you for all of that effort.
Yep, thanks.
Thank you. I'd also just repeat the thanks. It does seem as though the agreements now appear to be matter of fact, you know, part of the course of just doing business and operating as neighbors and servants in our communities. But it does also seem as though not too long ago, we had certain confusions about what happens when. And so we've been practicing not just the responsibilities that are within the document, but also, you know, and as you use the word quite frequently, the relationships. And that practice becomes really rather matter of fact. I was at first looking to see what the dates were within these JPAs as they come forward, because it seems like, well, once you have a relationship and you start practicing it, shouldn't it just remain the same? Shouldn't they just be perennial? But I hear what you're saying. Yes, it's important to be able to have these discussions and to have them every couple of years or so that we are understanding each other better and working together better. So I don't mind the time certains that are within them. I see they're probably about 2.5 to 3 years or so. You're probably targeting 3, but by the time you get it all done, it's 2.5, right? What is it?
Yeah, Chair, we really, I mean, honestly, try to do a 5-year agreement. I think when we set
5
these
years,
up,
really?
you know, I mean,
Because this one is over in 2028?
well, but I mean, when we started, and we probably have to double check that there, that
It
might
was
not
2
be there.
years
But I mean, but to your point, by the time, you know, we start looking at renewing that agreement, we're not setting these agreements through without doing outreach, physical outreach in these jurisdictions and working and build these relationships. So, you know, while they could be a 5-year agreement, I mean, we're starting to recycle them at 3 years to go back. And it's not that if something changes, we can't go back to open up an agreement, but just having that standard, you know, 3 to 5 years is kind of what we prefer, so.
Makes good sense. Again, thank you very, very much. And all have either iterated or nodded to the thanks. We appreciate it so much. And we have the motion before us. Is there a motion? We have the recommended action. Thank you. And a second? Was that you? Okay, motion by Cameron and second by Pacheco. Is there any further discussion? If not, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
I said that if not pretty fast. And opposed, no. Thank you. So the motion has passed. Thank you so very, very much for these updated contracts coming before us. And the next item on our agenda is business item 2025-271. Nick Thompson is before us. Thank you.
Madam Chair, council members, thank you. Nick Thompson, Deputy General Manager, Planning and Capital Programs. I'm going to give a brief presentation about this grant before the action tonight. So an overview of the grant, Metro Transit received $700,000 from the FTA pilot program for TOD planning for the Metro Blue Line extension. I'll note that it is called a pilot grant, though it's been called a pilot grant for many, many years. The pilot doesn't mean anything special in this case. Grant funds are for advancing station area planning strategies for proposed stations in the city of Minneapolis. If you note on the map, it'll cover the stations within the yellow box area of the new Blue Line extension alignment. In 2016, we also received a similar grant for this project, but at that point, the alignment was on a different corridor within Minneapolis. And so the station area planning there does need to be redone because we have new station locations. The boxes in red, we have station area planning done through those. And there's just minor updates being done to those on the new alignment. And that updates are being done through Hennepin County. So we'll have station area planning for all of the stations on the new alignment with this grant. So we are the recipient of the federal funds. We're the applicant. We apply for this, though, with support of the subrecipients. FTA prefers that Metro Transit, Met Council, be the recipient, as we are the recipient of federal funds for the Blue Line Extension project, and we will be charged with implementing that project. And our role in this grant is to provide oversight of the grant to the subrecipient, including invoice approvals, quarterly reporting, and compliance with all FTA requirements. City of Minneapolis, once they receive this grant, will be responsible for hiring and overseeing consultants to perform this work, and will be the lead in the community engagement, but we will be part of that project with them. The grant timeline, should the council approve this, City of Minneapolis is ready to go through procurement process to get the consultant on board. They're expecting starting that process and being ready for essentially a 2-year grant. The major tasks that will be handled through this grant are community stakeholder engagement. They'll do a lot of visioning, planning, and prioritization mapping around the stations. Do a good market analysis of development opportunity around stations, even down to the lot level and property level, working with the community on housing and community development, looking at land use, what land use could change, what land use controls could change to encourage development. They'll develop economic development strategies with the community and the West Broadway Cultural District Planning Group. There's a lot of multimodal planning here, and one of the big parts about this is building ridership at our stations, and so that's both land use, but also making sure that sidewalks are connected to the stations in good ways, finding gaps in that, developing pathways so people can easily get to and from our stations, and then some resiliency strategy for the long-term investment that's being made and development for that. So the proposed action for you tonight is that the council authorize the regional administrator to negotiate and execute a pass-through subrecipient grant agreement 24I050 with the City of Minneapolis for $700,000 FTA pilot program for a TOD planning grant award. And with that, I'll take any questions.
Well, this is very exciting. Thank you so much. I'll look to council members for any questions or comments. It's wonderful to see that all of these stations on the Blue Line extension will have station area planning, and that this makes that whole. I don't see any questions or comments, and so we're going to move this one right to request for motion.
Make a motion.
Thank you very much.
Second.
Thank you, Carter and Cameron. We appreciate the motion in the second. Is there further discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
And opposed, no. Thank you very much. The action's approved. And we will move on to business item number 2025-275. And here to present is Joe Barbo. Thank you, Joe. And I hope I pronounced your name.
You did, Chair. Thank you. I thought you were going to pronounce it Robbie King because his name was on there, but I guess somebody informed
There,
you.
gotcha.
So thank you. I'll start by saying that this is the type of item that usually ends up on consent, and we as staff neglected to make that happen. So it's always nice to show up every now and then. I don't get here a lot. So this is a TIP amendment for a planning grant. This is something that those of you who follow the TIP might recognize that we don't have a lot of planning-related TIP actions, but this is something that our FHWA division has been pushing a little bit and having us put some of these things in the TIP more, so you might see more of these. In this case, this is a TIP amendment for to enable funding for Reconnect Rondo. It's a nonprofit, a 501c3 based in St. Paul's Rondo neighborhood, and they received $2 million from the Reconnecting Communities Pilot Program planning grant from the USDOT in January. And in order for them to be able to secure that money, it does need to be in the TIP. And so the funds are to conduct NEPA, National Environmental Policy Act review and related activities for a highway cover over Interstate 94 between Lexington and Dale Avenue in St. Paul. And so there is no construction or anything of that nature here. We have been asked that with this small amount of funding, how that works, but it is not for construction. It is simply for planning activities. So with that, I would stand for questions.
Thank you very much, and for bringing the item before us. This is an interesting and intriguing project that's been going on for quite some time. It is in my district, and I'm very excited that they've received the federal grant and will have the opportunity to actually get those grants and put them into operation. So thank you very much. I'll look for questions from council members. Go ahead, Councilmember
I just want to comment and say I'm really happy to see this also. I was born in Philadelphia, and there's a project they have there called the Chinatown Stitch, because when construction was done, they cut right through the heart of Chinatown, as you know, very similar to what happened to Rondo. So I'm very happy to see this.
Thank you. Thank you very much for your comment. Other comments or questions? Thank you. And as Councilmember Carter was pointing out, this is about reconnecting, thus the name, but not simply reconnecting the cement or the streets physically, but reconnecting the economy of the community as well. So there's a lot built into this, and we appreciate the opportunity to help move this forward, as we're going to ask for a motion on this, on the proposed action. Thank you, Councilmember Carter. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Councilmember Johnson. And so if there is further discussion, we'll have it. Otherwise, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
And opposed, no. Thank you. The motion has passed and the item's approved, and we are going to go on to item 276, and we have John Harper here to present. Thank you, John.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair, committee members. John Harper, Manager of Contracted Transit Service in the MTS Division. Bring to you today a request to add money to one of our fixed route contracts that is with TransDev. And this is one of 4 fixed route contracts that we hold in our MTS division. We are looking to extend the contract term from November of this year through August of next year, and to do so requires some additional funding. We are looking to extend the contract term because we were waiting to begin the procurement of a replacement service. We put that on hold as we were working through changes that we were making in the Network Now plan. And so, as I'm sure you're aware, as items have been brought to you, Network Now has reconfigured and added a lot of services at the council. And we've been shifting services around within the various contracts that we have and between MTS and Metro Transit. And we're at a place now where we can proceed with procuring a replacement for the existing service. To allow us time to do a thoughtful procurement per the conversations we've had in previous meetings here, in order to make that, to allow proposers time to propose and for us to go through a thoughtful review, we are looking to extend the term of this agreement. So it is essentially a status quo action to add some money so that we can do that contract extension. So it is pretty straightforward. And so the proposed action that I'm bringing to you tonight is that the Metropolitan Council authorize the regional administrator to negotiate and execute an amendment to contract 20P099 with TransDev North America for transit services that will add $6 million for a total contract not to exceed amount of $38,415,460.
Thank you for sharing the item and putting the proposed action forward. I'll check with council members for questions or comments. All right, lacking none. Did I see your hand go? Okay, lacking none, then I'll ask for a motion on the proposed action.
So moved.
Thank you. And a second.
Second.
Thank you. I have a motion and a second from Johnson and Cameron, council members Johnson and Cameron. Without further discussion, unless there is, that's always a tip, isn't it? Okay. Then all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Thank you. The action has been approved. And we will move to item number, oh, my goodness, I am sorry. I just got to the last item on our agenda. Wow. This is all our business tonight, so I think the following items could go on the consent agenda unless there are objections. 2025-240, 257, 260, 271, and 275. But we should carry 2025-276 onto our non-consent agenda to the council. Oh, I'm sorry.
Madam Chair,
I'm
did you
sorry.
mention
I think
187?
all of them could actually go,
Except when
except for the first one, right? Okay. And so the first one is 187. Thank you. Okay. And that's our blue line item, so we want to be sure to take that for non-consent. All in agreement, then we will move those forward in that way with all items except for 2025-187 going consent to the council and 187 going non-consent. Thank you very, very much. And so we have no information items, and that concludes our meeting. Unless anyone has anything else, then our meeting is adjourned. Thank you, council members.
All right, thank you.